I said to my grandson, Mason, you and I are going to go out to the islands. So for the first time, him and I did it all on our own. We loaded the kayak onto the top of the truck. We took it off. We paddled out to the island. Oh my God, the joy of seeing him. He's writing his name with a stick in the sand on the beach, and he's looking at the shells, and we're just, he's just having a blast. I'm having a blast. It just made my heart just burst open because it was such an experience I know I'll always have until the day I pass.
And he will always have that as well.
So it's sweet. So the parks are just a gift that keep on giving.
Imagine a place where stress fades, fresh air fills your lungs, and adventure awaits around every corner. Welcome to Think Outside, the podcast that inspires you to explore, connect, and embrace the outdoors. Welcome to Think Outside with the Pennsylvania Parks and Forest Foundation. I'm your host, Marci Mowery, and today we're here at the Seen Them All Challenge Picnic at Cohen's Gap State Park. People who have visited all 124 state parks and the 20 forest districts were invited to come share their stories and celebrate their success, as well as people that are on that journey. And with me today is Joe Brosky. Joe not only completed the 124 and the challenge, he wrote a book about his experience. Joe, thank you for joining me.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's a fun day at the park here at Cohen's Gap. Sunshine, blue skies, and it's so much fun getting together with everybody who's done what we've done. And it's easy to talk because we're all so excited about the subject of our parks and forests.
So what inspired you to see them all?
The day Donna retired, we started talking because it was a year to the day I retired. So this is May 31st, 2018. And we just decided, hey, this is our first day retired together. We're going to go to one of our favorite parks in the Laurel Highlands, which was Laurel Hill State Park. So we're there on June 1st. We go into the gift shop, and what do we spy but a passport by your fine organization, Parks and Forest Foundation. And we said, oh my God, this is it. This is it. We're going to draw a line over our working days, and we're going to launch this fun treat. And we did. And that's what inspired us, was your passport, just seeing it there because we had the experience with the National Parks passport. And we're so excited. It was a great day, and we launched. And Donna said, I bet we can do this in 5 years. And it was almost 5 years to the day. We finished May 21st, 2023. And from day one, our goal was to finish up at Point State Park because we grew up in Pittsburgh, and the park, I think it opened around 1974, and Donna and I started dating in 75. So we had a lot of fun experiences at Point State Park, and off we went with the idea that was our last park.
It's interesting you mentioned about, going on dates to Point State Park, because hearing some of the conversations today, it seems that parks and this passport challenge really brought people together. Several people were married in our state parks. Several people started dating through the passport. So it's interesting to see how influential these spaces in our landscape are for people's lives.
Oh, it's amazing. I still remember, I have slides of the day. I surprised Donna by saying, we're going to go on a picnic. And it was our first state park together. We went to McConnell's Mills and had a lot of experiences with McConnell's Mills as a kid. We'd go out there and picnic and hike out there. And so, of course, trying to impress my new girlfriend, I was going to take her to my favorite state park at the time, which was McConnell's Mills.
Oh, I love it. My husband and I got to know each other on a hike in a state forest. So yeah, we're part of that story as well. What was an outstanding memory you have of your 5-year journey?
There's so many wonderful memories. And one, the interaction with a DCNR person really sums up our experiences of the joy we found there. We were our second trip to Little Buffalo State Park, we went kayaking, and on our way home, we stopped off at Big Spring State Park. Donna and I have such a neat experience there. It's almost like going through a time warp back to the 1930s. That park has that vibe.
Yes.
So we were going to just stop there, stretch our legs, and we're coming back from the unfinished railroad tunnel, and a DCNR truck pulls up, and this guy rolls down the window, and he says, "You two aren't the couple that I'm looking for." And he said, "What couple is that?" He says,
"Why
"Well,
are looking?"
Yeah, he says, "I think at least I thought it was a couple because it's a dual kayak on the top of their roof." And I said, "Oh, that's our kayak." And he starts laughing, and he said, "I just had to find out if you stopped here looking for Big Spring so you could kayak in it." And we said, "Nah, this is our second stop here." And he was such a fun guy. And he says, "Can I help you in any way?" And I said, "We read that there's a nice hemlock stand here, and we drove down the one road and we can't find it." And he said, "Oh, I have a map with that on there." And he searches and he says, "Oh, I can't find it." He says, "If I find it, I'll stop by and see if you're still here." So lo and behold, we get back to our truck and we're having one of our favorite things is a cup of coffee before we hit the road again. And he pulls up and he says, "I got it. I got it." And it was such a pleasure. And it's just that whole little interaction just shows what happened to us during the 5 years. It was like every park ranger, every employee at DCNR went out of their way to help us. And I often say going to a forest office is like going to see the Maytag repairman because they're so excited to see you because they don't get a lot of drop-ins, not like the park rangers. And they all treat you so well, and they have such wonderful stories to tell you. So that's one of my favorite memories is just the interaction with people. It's just wonderful.
And I think we're very blessed in Pennsylvania that the Park and Forest staff is so dedicated and committed to the work that they're doing, and understanding that, your experience and having you have a fond memory when you leave is so important.
That's very true. And it's just an amazing thing because you join the DCNR not for money, for sure. It's for a love of your job and what you're doing and helping people along the way.
Love of the resource. Yeah. Well, you wrote a book about your experience. So can you talk a little bit about the book? We now have it available we're working on getting it available on the PPFF website.
Which I appreciate. Yeah, it was I decided to do it from the viewpoint of I wish I had this book when Dawn and I started. And so it's like a soup and nuts at the start of it. I go through everything about how to gear up for it. And I even have product reviews of what really works well for me. And as I age, what works well. And it goes into planning. I'm a great planner because I was an Intel analyst and I did a lot of that type of work. And so I explain to people how's a good way to take on this task because it's a big task. And again, as we learned today, a lot of people are like us, take 5 years to do this. So it's nice to plan. And along the way, we go and I talk to Donna so many times about the parks and what we experience and the joy we find. And I try to bring that into every state park. I take a look at all the parks and all the forests. And along the way, there's a lot of things that come to mind that stimulate memory bubbles, I call them. I go back in time. Says when I was a kid. And I think that's one of the fun things about being out in nature. At least for me, I become a kid again. And everything's such a joy. And it's a lot of fun. And I try to bring that experience to the book. And I hope people will enjoy that and have that urge to take on the quest and have a lot of fun along the way.
I love that idea, Joe, that it brings not only you joy, but it brings you back to being a kid and that curiosity and sense of wonder that you found, as you were doing your 5-year journey. And I think you also made a very good point in that our parks are for people of all age levels. There are things that you can do no matter your age, and our parks are more and more becoming accessible. So accommodating different abilities.
Yeah, that's so important. When I retired, I wanted to keep giving back because I was in federal law enforcement, and you have that feeling you want to help people. And during COVID, I discovered it's the Virtual Senior Academy, and I do Cup of Joe with Joe. And
How fun.
Yeah, and it's an outreach to people my age and beyond. And what I do is I take everybody on virtual hikes. So I spend about 40 minutes on a slideshow, and then we just carry on from there and have a good time. And I think it's so important. I'm blessed, Dawn is blessed at our age that we can still be very active and enjoy the parks with our kids and grandkids. And it's so important for people my age and beyond, even if they, due to disabilities or just inability to get out and about, that they can still experience and bring the outdoors to them. And I do this through Zoom, but at the same time, I don't want people who have the ability not just to be sitting on a couch when they can get out and enjoy things. So I wrote the book with the idea that, yeah, sure, it's great, I think, for young families to get out and about, but it's also for people my age, I'm 73 and beyond, to get out and appreciate it because there's so much you can do. Even if you just drive to a park, find a picnic table, have a little picnic, look at the view, you can appreciate and enjoy nature so much. And that's, to me, that's a key. It's not so much that we have to run around and spend 5 minutes at this park or that park just to appreciate what you see and open up your ears and open up your eyes and just listen and see and appreciate nature at its best in our parks. We're so blessed to have parks here in Pennsylvania.
We are. And I'm, as you're saying that, I'm feeling the sun coming down on me, and we need at least 20 minutes of sunshine a day for vitamin D, for, stimulating melatonin to help us to sleep. And, part of what I do is I also am a certified mindful outdoor experience leader. And studies have shown that even if you don't get outside, like the slideshows that you're doing, you're really doing people a service because looking at pictures of nature can bring you some of those same benefits as being in nature, calming you down, lowering your blood pressure, giving you that stress relief, the mental health benefits. So thank you for doing that. And if somebody is interested in having a cup of Joe with Joe, how do they find out about that?
Just go online and search Virtual Senior Academy at the JCC, and that'll pop up. And don't be put off if you're in a different county, because when you go to register, they talk about Allegheny County, but we have people dropping in from Wisconsin, Washington, D.C., and it's all free. It's free to everybody 50 or older. But no one checks your license, so everybody's safe. But, when I'm doing this, it is so much of a joy because just like what Donna and I saw in our parks, when I'm showing these slides, people start going back in time to when they were kids and they start talking and, oh my God, we just laugh and carry on. And it's a blast. We have so much fun. And the oldest participant, believe it or not, is my mother-in-law. She's 91 and she has a blast. She will not miss Cup of Joe with Joe. It's just so much fun. So please, everybody join in because you'll have a good time.
And it's nice. So you're providing these multiple tools because sometimes seeing a place and becoming familiar with it through your Cup of Joe with Joe and seeing a trail might inspire you to go walk that trail because now you have some familiarity with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the same with your book, those little insider's tips, because I've said this in previous podcasts. So often we hear from people, they say, when I get there, what do I do? which is one of the reasons with the passport, we started with the theme. So like, oh, here, if you like these things, here's where you can do them. Just to give people, some of these places are hundreds of thousands of acres, giving people a place to start, an entry point. And your book does that, and your Cup of Joe with Joe also does that. So thank you for that.
I appreciate the opportunity to spread joy and love, because our world sure does need joy and love, that's for sure.
And we can all come together in the value of these places that we're sitting in.
Absolutely. You know, you're gathered around a campfire. I never hear anybody saying, well, you know, politics never has anything to do with it. It's how's that marshmallow coming along? And,
it's on fire.
It's all about the joy of nature. You know, when you get together with people at a campground or a park, it's just, we're all talking about the same thing. There's no barriers to participation. Everybody just enjoys being out and about.
Yeah, so true. We're coming close on our time, but I wanted to give you an opportunity if there's another story you want to share or a favorite place that you've been to that you would really like to relive or to share with other people to encourage them to visit the place.
You know, my favorite story is related to when Donna and I bought a kayak at the age of 70 so we could go over.
For you.
Absolutely. So we could get over to Allegheny Island State Park. And it was a joy for Donna and I. We strolled hand in hand along the beach.
Oh, I love that visual.
It was so wonderful. And as we're paddling along, there's big turtles sliding off the beach into the river. And it was such a joy. And about a week later, I said to my grandson, Mason, you and I are going to go out to the islands. So for the first time, him and I did it all on our own. We loaded the kayak onto the top of the truck. We took it off. We paddled out to the island. Oh, my God, the joy of seeing him. He's writing his name with a stick in the sand on the beach, and he's looking at the shells, and we're just, he's just having a blast. I'm having a blast. And we get back to where we started, and my daughter and granddaughter and wife, they met us there. And Lauren said, oh, my God, Dad, the smile on Mason's face was it was a beautiful sight. And it just made my heart just burst open, because it was such an experience I know I'll always have until the day I pass.
And he will always have that as well.
So it's sweet. So the parks are just a gift that keep on giving.
And I love the intergenerational aspect of parks and places, and you sharing your passion with your grandson. And he, I'm sure, will always remember that, but also will maybe spend more time
and
exploring.
Pass it along.
Yep, passing it along.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of it all.
Yes. Well, Joe, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I have really appreciated meeting you in person. We've communicated via email, and I have your book. I appreciate that your enthusiasm for our state parks and state forests, and your enthusiasm for sharing your knowledge with other people.
And I just appreciate the Parks and Forest Foundation, and I hit that home in my book, because you folks do a wonderful job, and it's so important to get people out and about, and your passport is aces, getting people out and about.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I mean, it's interacting with people like you and hearing people's stories that really help us through those challenging days, like right now, when we keep pushing for, like, hey, we need a budget for these places.
Oh, boy, isn't that the truth? Yeah.
So, yes. So thank you, Joe.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Think Outside, where every episode invites you to discover new places, build confidence, and find inspiration in nature. Love the show? Subscribe for more inspiration, share with a fellow explorer, and let's keep thinking outside together. For more resources and inspiration, visit thinkoutsidepodcast.org.